Okay. Just got watching the latest Mandalorian. Actually, trying to watch them in a timely fashion this time. And, yeah, no, back it up. Don't miss that. And, okay, not getting into spoilers here because Steph hasn't watched it yet. But, let me just say, okay, I think, of course, Ahsoka Tano. You all know it. And Dave Filoni's all over it. He wrote it. He directed it. No one's going to stop him, okay? Not even Kathleen Kennedy. No, that's his baby. So, yeah, and Rosario does good. I think it would have been a kick to have Rosario playing the part and then dub in Ashley Eckstein's voice. But no, you're not going to hire Rosario Dawson and have her dubbed. So, she might have gone along with it, but no, you don't do that. And we get some backstory on this one. Yeah, what he's been doing, where he came from. No, you've got a name. And gender. So, and a little thing about, can't train. No. And then don't just do the old thing of, oh, too old. No, it's not about too old. He's been away for too long and bad influences here, but yeah. But the quest continues, so the idea, he wanted to leave him with her. But no. And in all fairness to Ahsoka, no, she's no position. She's not even a fully vetted Jedi Knight yet, let alone ready to train anybody. So yeah, and again, she's seen too much of what happens even to a fully trained Jedi Knight when the bad feelings kick in and take over. So no. So we got a little more time with the Munchkin here. But yeah, I think Ashley did good. I mean, not Ashley. Rosario did a good job on it. And again, we gotta keep, we're too used to, I think, hour-long stories. And everything feels a little truncated. But, these little half-hour things. Once upon a time, there were plenty of half-hour dramas on the air, and they did fine. Have Gun Will Travel was only half-hour show. And it seemed to do fine for several seasons. So we gotta start retraining our own. The problem is not in the show. The problem is with us. And I think it's safe to say the way these, if first season was any clue, yeah, we'll see Ahsoka Tano, we'll see Bo-Katan at the end later on, and it'll all pay off by the last episode because that's the way the last season did. We got a lot of stuff that went back to the first episode, paid off in the end. This is all one long serialized story. This is the way you do serialized stories, guys. You want to take your notes over on Discovery, the way you screwed up in the first 2 seasons, yeah. The story's as long as it needs to be. It plants seeds. And that's the difference between planting seeds and doing mystery boxes to filthy. Mystery box is, at best, circumstance is just a MacGuffin. Where it doesn't matter what's in the mystery box. It doesn't matter what goes on around it. But, again, they got to throw a J.J. Jab in here. But it fits because, he did the same thing with Star Wars. He did with Star Trek. Putting in mystery boxes that are key to the plot and yet not knowing what the hell's in the box in the first place. That's the thing. Most mystery writers, when you don't, or you put in a mystery, you gotta know what the mystery is to begin with as a writer and work backwards. I don't think he ever covered that, So, but yeah, we got a little thing, and I might get into more speculation of where this little guy came from, and. Yeah. But, it was a good, tight little story. And I think, the fact that they're only maybe around a half hour or so long, it does kind of lean towards, Filoni's style of writing, because Clone Wars is only like half an hour. So you get in what you need to get to and get out, You don't pad it out with lots of, well, we gotta fill another 13 minutes. No, you don't. Especially the streaming service. You can be as long as or short as you want. If it takes a half an hour to tell a story, and that's it, great, tell half hours, get the hell out. Don't bore the audience. If it takes an hour and a half, then it takes an hour and a half. And I think I suspect this show has George's blessing because of that. You do it, the needs of the story. And that's also, but again, if they, I posted a tweet to both Favreau and Filoni, if they try and tie this into the sequel trilogy, they will lose what support they have. Now, so far, yeah, it's all tying in rather heavily back to the original trilogies and the prequels and the Clone Wars. You know, and we'll see what happens. Because they don't have next week on The Mandalorian. No, they don't have previews. You got to tune in to find out. So, yeah, the shortest episodes are. They do a preview. They tell you half the episode if they did that. So far, it's still looking good. The problem with it really embracing is all the crap that goes on around the show that we know about. The behind-the-scenes junk with Kathleen Kennedy and her possibly finagling her way into keeping her job despite the contract. You don't want that. No, you don't. Yeah. But, again, so far, what's going up on screen... Again, I never great about, the clone tanks in the last one. I looked at it. I had a good picture. It wasn't fuzzy at all. It was, I got a high-res thing. I couldn't see anything. It just looked like an amorphous, kind of a humanoid shape here. Could have been Snoke, could have been Mr. Clean. Who the hell knows, okay? So I'm not going to, I'm not going to spend... No, they're tying it. No, I think the only thing we can derive from this is Darth Gideon was, involved in trying to clone their own bunch of Force-wielding troops. With taking blood from Squirt over here and trying to, and the thing is, you just can't do that one. Well, the obvious thing, even within your own species, you got to get the right blood type. And you're talking about this little frog eater here and trying to put it in a human. I can tell you right now that wouldn't work very well, unless they're just trying to inject the midichlorians in. Which actually would kind of go into, the fact that it didn't work and failed rather miserably, kind of goes to the argument of how, no, the midichlorians are not the source of the Force. Pardon the clumsy rhyme. They're not the source, they're a side effect. Okay? They're a part of it, but you got to be Force sensitive in the first place. And the midichlorians kind of seek you out. Okay? But if you're not Force sensitive, you're not capable of Force sensitive, the midichlorians don't do nothing. In fact, if anything, they kill you, apparently. That's what they found out with these clones. So, I suspect. And it's also about, something somewhat consistent backstory and science within the universe is that we can make that kind of speculation with Star Wars. And usually with Star Trek. And why Discovery is so maddening, because they do stuff that makes absolutely no sense within the confines of the Star Trek universe. It's part of your back. It's why, some of us go nuts about, canon. Yes, it does matter, okay? Not so much as to whether or not star dates line up exactly. That's minutia. But you gotta be consistent within the universe of how things work. And overall general events type of thing. It's like, yes, it does matter in the Star Trek universe that the eugenics wars took place in the 1990s and the final World War III was in the early 2000s or so. And again, parts of the get my thing, that's not our universe any more than Star Wars is not our universe. And once you figure out, okay, no, this is a fictional universe. Like, apparently, I'll get back into Star Trek. Apparently, they're gonna next week, supposedly, when things really hit the fan. Like this wasn't bad enough. Now they totally ruined Vulcans. And no, we're gonna destroy the entire Star Trek universe. The big FU. That's gonna give us all apparently, and it's gonna be. He might be lucky that Harlan Ellison is dead, because I've heard that the Guardian of Forever gets invoked. If Harlan still has lawyers, I guarantee it. He's got family. And if they're on the ball, this thing hits air, and they show the Guardian, and they didn't bother getting any kind... it would be perfectly within Alex Kurtzman's purview to have nicked this thing. Well, it's Star Trek lore. Other writers have tried to use the Guardian in Star Trek in official productions, and Harlan Ellison shot them down in no uncertain terms. Yesteryear, because he and Dorothy Fontana were friends, and she probably knew better to ask him first. And the Guardian really wasn't that crucial to the entire story. The whole story was about Spock going back to save himself as a kid. The Guardian was the mechanism to get there. But other writers, when you touch Harlan Ellson's stuff, you are sowing the wind and you will reap the whirlwind. You guarantee, even in death. I'm sure he's got provisions in there. He's probably got a special Death Star clause that, any of these Star Trek writers, they touch my story, they will die. It was, oh God, anybody crossed him while he was writing the thing. When he first heard that somebody else had rewritten his script, the old story goes that he fashioned up a hangman's noose. Hung it up just outside, because Gene Roddenberry's office, you had an outer office and then the inner office where Gene was. He hung this thing up just outside the doorway, so Harlan opened the door, pointed to the noose, and tell me somebody did not touch my words. That's Harlan Ellison at his prime in 66. And I don't think he really didn't mellow much in later years, if it was just because of old age and he didn't have the energy. But for the most part, Harlan was Harlan all the way to the end. So if this thing hits air, and you see the Guardian being used to upend everything, unless they paid Harlan's estate another $10 million on top of the regular production cost, I expect a lawsuit somewhere. Or, I don't know, or you'll hear a very loud screaming Jewish voice from the other side. Say, you fat bastard! But, getting back to Star Wars. No, this was a good entry. It's still proceeding along. And let's see, we're up to episode 5 of this season, so we're about halfway through. And it should be good, especially, we're now going into getting more into what all happened to the rest of the Jedi. We know Obi-Wan's, this is after Jedi. So at this point, the only Jedi we know are still around is Luke and Ahsoka. That's it. Those are the only ones we know. And I guess, let's see. On Rebels, you had Catan, and they might still be around. You never know. It hasn't been that many years for those guys. And they would have fallen outside Order 66 anyway. Because none of those guys were actually members of the Jedi Orders. And apparently that's how Ahsoka got up, because, you got to be a Jedi. And again, that's the problem with computers. They only follow precisely what you tell them at high speeds. And they look it up. This guy Jedi, boom. This guy Jedi, boom. This girl, Ahsoka, not a Jedi anymore. Okay, never mind. Thought she got away with that one, apparently. But it's like in RoboCop, can't harm any employee of, OCP. You're fired. Thank you. But it's just starting to ramble here. So yeah, okay, good episode. Watch it, love it. Tell them you like it. Tell them you want more of it, and tell them to keep Kathleen Kennedy away from it. So after that, as for that, rest of it, like, share, subscribe. Especially, I'm losing subscribers for some strange reason. They're starting to drop off here, so check to make sure you're still subscribed, okay? YouTube may be doing its usual shenanigans here, so. And PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar, had 100 others down there. Click on one of them. I've even hit out to Miley Cyrus, because apparently she's feeling a generous mood. I said, hey, my Explorer needs a new engine if you're feeling, so inclined. So, anyway, get you later.